Welcome, everybody, to Universal Truth of Mankind. I am Dave, your host, and this is Kabbalah 101. You're not going to believe this. I'm almost at 100 Kabbalah 101 videos. In 3 months, about 3 months, all these videos are created, and I still have more to do. I'm nowhere near done. So please subscribe to both YouTube and to Rumble, and share these videos. Everything's free. I'm not asking anyone for money. Okay, so there's no fear here. So today's topic is going to be about death. I know death is very morbid. Death is something that we don't want to deal with. It brings up a lot of emotional pains. We've all lost loved ones, uh, even friends or neighbors. And don't get me wrong, I'm talking about human death here. But what about death of a dog, a companion dog that just, I don't know. How can you not love dogs? A cat. Maybe it's a special, maybe a cow, a certain bird, a squirrel, a tree being cut down. It's like a death to us. And it is a death. Um, I'm always concerned about death of anything. Death of, like I said, a tree or vegetation of some kind. Death of an animal. I even get upset if I see earth moved. And what I mean by that is I love the natural contour of the land. It tells me something about the land. In other words, I'll go to a park and I will analyze. It's just the way I am. I'll analyze the way the valleys, the hills, and so on and so forth. And it's like it speaks to me. It says, oh, this was flooded once. Oh, this used to be a swamp. This used to be a lake. This used to be a stream, and so on and so forth. And I can tell where the stream was, and so on and so forth, where the water source may have been, and so on. And I can see so I can look at the land and say, okay, if I was to dig for water, I would dig over there. It's the way I look at the land. So even the land is a life to me. So if you come in, you bulldoze everything down and you flatten down and put one big, mall on top of it, that upsets me because I'm like, oh, that land spoke to me. So you understand what I'm saying. Okay. But just what I described when we talk about death, what are we talking about? Well, I'm talking about my five senses. I can't see it anymore. I can't hear it anymore, like the wind blowing through a tree or something like that, or an animal making a bark or something like that. Um, I can't touch it anymore. I can't smell it, hear it. I think I got everything. Touch, taste it anymore. I mean, let's say an apple tree, tasting the apples. Oh, a cherry tree. I don't have the cherries anymore. So what am I mourning over when we're talking about death? The end of the use of the five senses to detect that thing or that person, that object. Maybe a death of something. Maybe you have a love letter from a friend of you, or from your husband, and it's accidentally lost. That's like a death. That's a memory that's coming to its death. No longer can you hold that item. I once had an opportunity to hold a piece of paper with Schneerson's signature on it. And I was like elated. It's like I can feel the energy in that letter. Now I don't have that anymore, but could you imagine that was like accidentally lost or burned up in a fire or something like that? And now it's gone. Why? Again, we're talking about the five senses, but we have to understand everything has a soul. A grain of sand has a soul. Vegetation has a soul. anything that's animate, anything from a bug to a horse is animate. And then we as humans, the speaking soul, is also a soul. So our mourning, our loss, the death, is our ability to perceive the five senses anymore. But the reality is, those things now exist at a different level now. Souls exist at a higher level. Souls don't disappear. They don't get destroyed. They don't become non-existent. So we have to learn to recognize that this part of us disappears, but not this part of us disappears. So even though I may pass away tomorrow, it can happen anytime. My family knows that up here, I'm still alive. And that's the way we have to view death. I hope this helps, and I hope this comforts some of you. People ask me, oh, is my dog still alive after it dies? I said, the dog has a soul. Of course it's still alive. They're like, really? I said, yeah. And they're like, oh, good, good, good. So they're like thrilled. Your favorite turtle. Same thing. I hope this helps, everybody. Take care. Shalom, shalom.